160-year-old village of Uniondale is the starting point for one of the most popular one-day mountain bike races in South Africa, as it links the arid beauty of the Klein Karoo with the lush forested coastal scenery of Knysna in the annual Penny Pinchers Lions Karoo to Coast, a 100-kilometre race that takes the participants over the historic Prince Alfred's Pass as they make their way through the Outeniqua Mountains. The event is owned by the Lions Clubs of Uniondale and Knysna, and in 2016 attracted a sold-out field of 4,200 riders, all eager to experience the thrill of an event that has endured for 18 years. The scholars from Uniondale High School assisted with registration, and funds raised from the event are channeled to Sight First, the South African Guide Dog Association, and other urgent needs in the community. Registration took place on the afternoon and evening before the race, and included in the entry fee was a good hearty supper. The cheerful, hard-working crew for the Lions Club ensured that all the riders got the necessary carbs and protein ahead of a grueling race. As expected, the town was bursting at its seams as residents opened their homes to riders from around the country. Also tented accommodation on the showgrounds. Dawn on race day. Weather-wise, it was a beauty with clear skies and a brisk Klein Karoo chill in the air. There was feverish activity as riders pumped tyres to the correct pressure for the 100 k's of gravel road racing and made sure they stocked up on all good stuff to keep the legs strong.
It's a lekker ride. We enjoy it. We come down here, we try and do different rides more often, but this is just our second one. We're bringing a newcomer down here so he can have fun. And this time we hope we do better than last time.
Ja, dit is almal se eerste reis, so sien baie uit en dis net flippend koud. So ja, hoop maar dat alles gaan goed.
Cold riders flock to the fires like bees to a honeypot.
I'm going to have to put it down. It's 3 degrees in Uniondale. When we go up over our pot, it's going to be hot. We're ready for it. My third time. Looking forward to it.
What are you expecting on the route today?
No, we know it's hard. We did it last year. A bit of a shock. If we eat the bar pot quick, we're going to have a crappy ride. So we're going starting out slow and hoping we improve.
You know the stories about the tortoise and the hare? Well, we're the tortoise, but we will get there. We will. As a team, we'll get there.
Thanks, guys. No,
guys.
It's cold in this place.
Dis my dashboard. Ons gaan van nommer 5, so sub 5, hopelik.
The adrenaline was pumping, goals were set, and team picks snapped.
Dit is reg vir die ding.
I think it's going to be fantastic. All downhill all the way. Yeah, it's just cruising downhill.
Oh, it's probably going to be a really tough one today, but yeah, I've got 2 guys in front of me, so I probably can just hook on them and they'll carry me the whole way.
Yanni Duplessis' shotgun sent the first of 7 batches of riders off on their journey over the mountains to the sea. There is something magical about a point-to-point race that traverses ancient passes and wagon trails. It captures a little of the explorer in each of us. And these riders were certainly caught up in the thrill as they charged through and then out of town. The cold air already forgotten. The roadside support from the locals, many of whom weren't even born when the first event took place at the turn of the century, was magical. Ahead of them, 1,500 metres of climbing over the full distance, and the first 12 kilometres were a climb up towards Avontuur through the Uniondale Poort and along the Ovarpad, the historic wagon trail that linked the hinterland to the Eastern Cape. A group of 5 aggressors had escaped the big peloton and were flying up the road. Behind them, the pace was a little slower as legs warmed up and riders settled into a rhythm. The Lien Bunzaya looking strong. Up front, Oudtshoorn Gerrie Beukes was busy laying down the law and stringing out the contenders behind him. And closest to him, Vickers Boshoff, behind him Tiaan Jordan. The chasers weren't about to let this pair get away so early and set about their work on trying to close the gap. The climb was steep and the surface loose, making for a seriously tough start to the race. But the spectacular views were a great distraction. The sight of the first water point also welcome, although after just 7 of the 100 Ks, many didn't feel the need to stop. Others did.
So far so good. Warming up nicely, but so far so good. First hill done, so all good from here. Thanks man.
Ons wil terug gaan na Weeko. Ons is reg. Hierdie bult was net 'n bietjie oefening vir ons. Ons gaan nou terug en jag ons hom oor. Ja, verseker. Ons gaan 'n bietjie wag na dat gap is. Maar nou is die afdaling voor. Nou gaan ons vakansie hou. Sien jou nou.
The reward was a long, sweeping, smile-inducing descent. Up front, the lead group was now 3 strong. Tiaan Jordan leading Vickers Boshoff and Gerrie Beukes. Stephen Ekus was leading the second group and looking quite keen to get away from them as well. For some, the day was going to be a lot longer than they'd planned. The wonderful generosity of the local landowners ensured that the farm gates were all open and the riders could cruise through immaculate fields and orchards unhindered. A hint of blossom on the peach trees, a sign that spring was in the air as they passed a sadly derelict old farmhouse. The youngsters from Ubuntu Primary ensured that flagging spirits were raised as they cheered the riders through. They passed under the famous R62 that links George with Port Elizabeth behind the Outeniqua Mountains and through the beautiful Langkloof, one of the major apple-producing regions in the country. After the adrenaline rush of the first part of the race, reality was about to bite. They still had a long way to go. Much of it uphill on the R339, with the majestic Prince Alfred's Pass the major challenge. Nothing like a friendly helping hand when the going gets tough. No help needed here as Vickers Boshoff and Jordan continued to stretch ahead. A glance to the left by Gerrie, the reward was truly magnificent. After the close to freezing temperatures at the start, the conditions were as near to perfect as the riders could have wished for. The second water point was like school drop-off time, and a very welcome relief. And why not, especially with the drop down the side of the Kransberg to come.
This is definitely more than you expected. A bit of walking, almost sure that we could start off with a swim, but the weather's been good so far, and doing it with some good mates. The route's nice so far.
Yeah. It's been fantastic. Scenery is amazing, lots of friendly people, just loving it.
Some long and some tight corners, but a smooth surface and very little pedaling required. What a pleasure. Except for the powerful Anne Harrison on her Momsen Viper, she was involved in a fierce tussle for supremacy amongst the leading women. Simone van Aert was also giving it her all. At 68 kilometers long, Prince Alfred's is the longest mountain pass in South Africa by a considerable margin and is considered to be Thomas Baines' greatest work among the 29 passes he built. Thomas Baines used convict labour to build the pass, some of whom lost their lives during the construction. They were closing in on the small settlement of De Vlucht, where Baines in fact built himself a house to live in during the 4 years of construction. Flying across the Keurboom's River, the leading trio is still intact. Their pursuers a few minutes back. A lone piper on duty at De Vlucht. This is a truly spectacular part of the country, sadly though seldom seen by most. The climbing was not over by a long way. Neither was the very intense battle for honours in the women's race. The slopes of the mountains bearing the scars of recent fires. Jeannie de Villiers was coming into her own on the climb. Teamwork at its best. A G-Batch starter chugging up the hill. Still time for a smile. Ever the gentleman, John Graaf looking after wife Jill at the water point. Sunscreen on tap and on the nose.
How's it going, Adi? No, it's lekker. Just waiting for it to get difficult, you know, smooth sailing so far, so we'll see what happens.
Good this year. The sun is shining. It's all good. The hills are not as steep as they were last year. But I'm waiting for the banana bread. Because it's my husband's 39.99 birthday. And we are from Stinkbank, all the way from Mpumalanga. And the Cape is beautiful. And the vibe is absolutely fantastic. And
it's an awesome race.
They'd covered 38 kilometers as they left Water Point 3 in the midst of the Outeniqua Mountains. More thrilling descending, ending with a river crossing. And they all knew what came next. Another tough section of climbing as they made their way towards the deep river section. It's not called heights for nothing, as those novices in the field were about to find out.
They say mountain biking's fun. Look at us. The smile of enjoyment. Don't you love it?
This was the charge of the Light Brigade. 11 men, led by Wesley Lentz, flew through Water Point 4 without so much as a greeting. Jeannie de Villiers was having a superb race now. Nicholas van der Walt on her wheel. A real Easterman, Gerry Beekes, alongside him Vickers Boshoff and Tiaan Jordan tucked in behind the pair. A race for the overall title. Meanwhile, Frick and Jannie Strydom from Hot as Hell were having an interesting day out. Hot as Hell is 50 k's north of Kuruman in the Northern Cape. Hot it might be, but there's not a hill in sight.
Waar ons vandaan kom is nie bult nie. Oh, hier is die series, dis insane, dis die woord.
That is the beauty of the Penny Pinchers Lions Karoo Coast. It attracts riders from all over South Africa. The wide, smooth district roads, not in any way technically intimidating, making it the perfect introduction to marathon mountain bike racing. When they reached the 5th water point, they knew they had got over the worst of it. They were over halfway home.
Vandag het ek al baie meer gebid op die fiets as in die kerk. Dis die wat ek hier op 'n Sondag is. Ja, maar dit is lekker, is 'n voorreg.
It's awesome, like we just began.
Convincing?
No.
No, loving it though. It's good fun.
Well, just awesome nature and the view and the challenge. It's just awesome. It's just beautiful.
High-speed descents were the highlights of the second half of the race. Wesley Lentz leading the fast-chasing bunch into the forest of Neisner. The near-perfect weather, combined with the spectacular views and great route, led a few to entertain some weird and wonderful ideas.
It is beautiful. In fact, I want to go back and do it again this afternoon. It's that good. Don't think I can, but I'm going to try very hard. The downhill through that first bit was absolutely spectacular.
And who could blame him, really? It was slow going for the vast majority of the field. Content to spin up the long inclines, rest at the top, and then charge down the other side. The deep follow water point, a psychological and physical boost. They knew they were just 30-odd kilometers from the finish, and bikes, thanks to Squirt Lube, were looked after there. And there was more food and drink for the engine. And for those who wanted, legs were revived by a welcome massage.
The first two climates was very hectic, but I mean, now it's all done. Now it's downhill and then 2 little ones left, I think. Hope so.
You will learn that there's no such thing as little ones in the forests of Knysna. The cool, shaded roads through the stunning indigenous forest saw Gerrie and Vickers slip away from Tiaan Jordan. It was now a 2-horse race between the two canny, wily campaigners. The chasers were like a pack of hungry dogs who'd heard the back door open at home. The forests are truly special, and cruising through them on a mountain bike is one of life's wonderful experiences. One more chance to refuel. They'll need it with a Gona climb still to come.
Potatoes never tasted better.
It's going well. Almost there. How many? 30 k's left? No, it's in the legs. In the head.
A long, fast, sometimes dangerous descent takes them to the bottom of the valley before a little more toil to get through. And the cruel gods of mountain biking still had a few cards to play. Others preferred to walk the climb. What's the hurry? Where else do you have to be? Although some had perhaps overestimated their ability and were running a little behind schedule.
Ja, ek is amper daar my seun. Bel vir ma sê vir ek's besig om te sterf hierso hoor.
Ek hoop my bene gaan moeilik op die kamera, né? Dis op die ma dit sien nie.
It was getting tough, but the tough were getting going. The game of cat and mouse up front continued. Gerrie Bierkes ahead of Vickers Boshoff. And in the women, Jeannie de Villiers was hammering along. Malushka Tuvi was watching every pedal stroke. It was going to be tight in both races. Not so back here, although no doubt each and every rider had a goal in mind, whether it was just to finish, or to beat a friend or a family member, or last year's time. The Eden Lions were out in force at the final water point. And they do amazing work in the two communities to help those in need.
Well, I've been involved with Lions for quite a long time now, and the Lions, their main project is sight. So this is why we get involved. We've had the race now for 18 years, and everything that we make, all the money that we make goes to sight. We've done about 3,500 cataract operations. We've sponsored 50 guide dogs, and then we supplied numerous numbers of spectacles for people that have a problem with eyesight. People come down, they have their eyes tested, and then we supply them with spectacles. I just want to really thank all the cyclists for everything. I mean, if the cyclists weren't coming to do this race, we wouldn't have a race, and we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing as the Lions Club of Knysna and Uniondale.
The drop into the Khona River is precipitous, extremely fast. Caution is the watchword, with one particularly sharp right-hander to deal with. All did so safely, thankfully. Then it was a drag out of the valley, and the women were still locked together. One of the most beautiful coastal towns anywhere in the world. Knysna awaited the riders in the Penny Pinchers Lions Karuta coast. It had been an absorbing, intense battle over the 100 kilometers, and as the leaders closed in on the finish, it was Gerrie Beekes who got away to take the win.
I just stuck with Beekes and I saved a bit for the last hill. I knew the last hill would be a decider. It was my tactic from the beginning. And halfway up the climb, I dropped the gear and gave my best, and it pulled off for today. Lucky me.
The women's race was a thriller. Maluska Tuvi dropping a gear on the last few meters of tar to take a risky line into the showgrounds, and she powered away from Jeannie de Villiers to take the victory.
It was really tough. I circled a lot on the first 30 Ks. The girls rode me away, so I was lying about third. Then I caught the one girl again. We were riding in a bunch for about 40 Ks, and about 20 Ks to go, I caught the girl that was second now. So then when I saw her, I just tried to sit on her wheel, and then I just like rode with her, and then I'm in the front, she's in the front, and we kind of work each other up. And then yeah, she rode really strong, so I really had to push hard. And then just on the last, we had a sprint finish. And then I took the sprint, but she rode very well. She's a good rider, yeah.
While they began their rest and recovery, there were still thousands of riders out on the road, enjoying the sometimes cruel beauty of the coastal mountains and forests. The maxim among most was, why worry about a fast time when you can have a good time? A truly special experience. The bridge under the N2, the final obstacle before the smooth tar run to the finish. And a warm welcome home after a great ride all the way from Uniondale. It certainly was an extraordinary year for the Penny Pinchers Lions Karuta coast.
Mountain biking being one of the fastest growing sports across the country, we aim to get involved in initiatives where we can create opportunities for our brand to grow and to provide opportunities for brand exposure. We are grateful for the participants, we are grateful for each and every individual, we are grateful for the communities that allow us as corporate initiatives and corporate brands to come in and share this exciting initiative with them in their local communities.
Gerrie Beekes clocking 3 hours 25 minutes and 29 seconds, just under 2.5 minutes ahead of Vickers Sporshoff, Tian Jordan in third. It couldn't have been closer for the win for Maluska Tuvi in the women's race. Congratulations to all who completed the Penny Pinchers Lions Karuta Coast in 2016. See you next year.